Quarterback Joe Milton was mocked. He was not even supposed to make the team.
If I were making the roster today, Joe Milton is not on the roster. He's either going to the practice squad or I'm letting him go.
But after a Patriots preseason matchup, everything has completely changed.
There he goes.
That Milton has a wow factor. Big, stronger arm than May, more athletic than May, and everybody's looking thinking, is the 6th-round guy better than the 1st-round guy?
And Joe Milton's head coach is openly saying he was surprised by his performance.
Any players specifically that exceeded your expectations going into tonight, just the way they showed in the game?
The easy answer would be Joe.
Let's break down the latest New England Patriots quarterback battle. So this past offseason, the New England Patriots moved on from their greatest head coach in NFL history, Bill Belichick. Owner Robert Kraft, instead of hiring Belichick, decided to go with Gerard Mayo, the former linebacker coach and former linebacker himself, for the Patriots. And what's crazy is despite the fact that Mayo worked under Bill Belichick, he has not talked to the guy at all since taking over as head coach. That shows that there is some bad blood there. Fortunately for Bill Belichick, at age 72 years old, he now has a 24-year-old girlfriend, a former cheerleader. So despite the fact that he's not a head coach right now, I think he's going to be perfectly fine. The Patriots also moved on from their former 1st-round pick quarterback, Mac Jones. And it seems like they are pressing the reset button on this entire franchise. And that is why with the 3rd pick in the NFL draft of 2024, the Patriots selected Drake May out of North Carolina. Drake May was a consensus top 5 pick, so this made perfect sense. But the Patriots shocked the NFL world later in the draft when they selected Joe Milton out of Tennessee in the 6th round. Milton was expected to be a late round pick because he only really started for a full season in his redshirt senior year with the Tennessee Volunteers in 2023. He started his college career with the Michigan Wolverines as a backup to starter Shea Patterson, and Joe Milton never really saw the field until the 2020 season with the Michigan Wolverines, and it was not great, causing him to transfer to Tennessee in 2021. While he was with the Tennessee Volunteers, he primarily sat behind quarterback Hendon Hooker and only had a few opportunities to play when Hendon Hooker would be injured. He would enter the 2023 season with 4 games under his belt as a Tennessee Volunteer, and there was some hype around the prospect and what he could do his redshirt senior year. Obviously, he's always been extremely athletic, 6'5", 235 pounds in college, a similar body type and athleticism to quarterbacks like Cam Newton. On the stat sheet, his year was solid with 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,769 passing yards, along with almost 300 rushing yards with 6 touchdowns on the ground. And as Joe Milton entered the NFL draft, scouts were able to recognize that he has a rocket launcher for an arm and can generate effortless high-level velocity. There's no doubt about his physicality, especially on the ground where he's built like a tight end and can create yards in open space. But it just seemed like Milton was all deep ball and nothing else, leading him to show poor accuracy on short and intermediate throws, and sometimes the deep ball would even hurt him where he would overthrow open receivers, putting way too much mustard on the football. And when it came to the Tennessee's offense, it was dominated by one read throws. He did not have to do multiple reads, and that just does not translate to the NFL level. So while physically Milton was gifted, the struggles with his accuracy, the lack of touch, the overthrows, and lack of consistency and rhythm caused him to fall to the 6th round and be selected by the New England Patriots. Aside from the 1st round quarterbacks, you had QBs like Spencer Rattler of the Saints and Jordan Travis, now with the New York Jets, being selected above Joe Milton. And not only was Drake May selected above Joe Milton at pick number 3 and projected to be the New England Patriots' future franchise quarterback, but Jacoby Brissett, the former New England Patriot who's bounced around on the Dolphins and also the Cleveland Browns, was signed in free agency and projected to be the starting quarterback for the Patriots this year, while Drake May sits behind him. Jacoby Brissett is trying to be a mentor, but also has confidence in himself and claims that he is fighting for the starting quarterback job. As training camp continued for the New England Patriots, some odd reports came out by the Boston Globe about the quarterback situation. Colin Cowherd referenced these reports on his show talking about how Drake May has been struggling in training camp and Joe Milton has been looking better. And one of the big comments in that report was that if you looked at both of these quarterbacks during practice, you would not be able to tell who's the number 3 overall pick in the first round and who is the 6th round pick.
That Milton has a wow factor, big, stronger arm than May, more athletic than May, and everybody's looking thinking, is the 6th round guy better than the 1st round guy?
Now, this report was mocked by beat reporters in Boston around the New England Patriots, saying that the Boston Globe does not know what they're talking about. Colin Cowherd does not know what they're talking about.
But that has to be the worst opinion I've heard about the Patriots so far this season. That is it. Put that at the top of the list. It is the worst opinion I've heard yet.
And basically, the consensus was by these beat reporters as of 7 days ago before the first preseason game was that Drake May is obviously light years above Joe Milton. Joe Milton might not even be able to make the roster, and he's all show, all backflips.
And to me, if I were making the roster today, Joe Milton is not on the roster. He's either going to the practice squad or I'm letting him go.
And some of these criticisms about Joe Milton even went as far as to say that with the Tennessee Volunteers and even in Michigan, this is a guy who excels in practice. And once he goes on the football field in live bullets and live games, you see the same problems prop up. Lack of accuracy, overthrowing the football, having trouble doing multiple reads. And this all makes sense. Obviously, Drake May was a number 3 overall pick for a reason. Joe Milton fell in the 6th round for a reason. But then everything has suddenly changed as of the first preseason game with the New England Patriots against the Carolina Panthers. In this preseason matchup, you saw Jacoby Brissett play. You saw quarterback Drake May play. Each of them only played 1 series, and it was lame. Jacoby Brissett went 3 and out. Drake May barely had 3 passing attempts, and his biggest production in the air came with a screen. Bailey Zappi came in and played after Drake May and Jacoby Brissett, and he was very unimpressive, and you saw the New England Patriots crowd sort of be taken out of the game and bored while he was on the football field. There were even reports that Bailey Zappi was booed relentlessly in this preseason Patriots opener. And we saw all of that completely change when Joe Milton took to the football field. Instantly, we saw Joe Milton utilize his athleticism, making a huge play, breaking multiple tackles, turning something that could have been a sack into a big-time run. And this alone completely re-energized the crowd and made them more excited about this preseason football game. In addition to some big plays on the ground, you saw the game not look too big for Joe Milton. I know he's going against big-time backups, but he was able to make some consistent throws and even made a huge touchdown throw on a double move to his wide receiver, perfectly placing this football. And head coach Gerard Mayo was asked who impressed him the most in this preseason game, who surprised him in this matchup, and he only had one answer, which was Joe Milton.
Any players specifically that exceeded your expectations going into tonight, just the way they showed in the game?
The easy answer would be Joe. You know, Joe went out there and it's been a long, I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback here run around as much as he did and still was able to get the ball down the field.
The head coach later on admitted that Joe Milton gave them a spark after Bailey Zappi. So that just goes to show you in terms of a quarterback competition for that number 3 quarterback spot behind Jacoby Brissett, behind Drake May, it seems like Joe Milton now has the edge over Bailey Zappi, and we can expect to see more of this guy in these upcoming preseason games. In my opinion, Joe Milton definitely makes the roster now. The 24-year-old has potential, and if he's a practice squad player at this point, he is definitely going to be plucked by another team that will want to develop him and utilize his potential. And the big question is, how good is Drake May really? Were those reports from the Boston Globe actually credible? We only saw him throw 3 passes in this past game. What's going to happen when we see more of Drake May? What if he struggles? What if he just looks kind of vanilla and not that exciting? It's not likely, I get it, but it's still in the realm of possibility for a quarterback like Joe Milton to take advantage of this opportunity if Drake May struggles. What if he beats him out for number 2 on that quarterback depth chart, depending on how it all shakes out? The New England Patriots already have a history of a former 6th-round pick, Tom Brady, taking the starting job and completely shocking everybody. So what if history could repeat itself? Either way, Patriots fans and the organization already know the ceiling of Bailey Zappi, and this regime with Gerard Mayo technically did not draft Bailey Zappi. So Joe Milton is definitely going to be there sitting at number 3, and perhaps if the Patriots don't see a future with this guy, if they know for sure Drake May is going to be the franchise quarterback, then I can anticipate other other teams calling the New England Patriots, trying to trade for this guy, see if they could develop him on their team, on their 53-man roster. Look, I'm a Raiders fan. We have a rough quarterback competition. I would not mind if my team made a call and grabbed some Joe Milton. You already have Patriots fans joking around about how they wasted a number 3 overall pick on Drake May and they could just have Joe Milton start already. Obviously, people are getting ahead of themselves, but there's 2 more preseason games left. I think the entire NFL world is going to be looking at Joe Milton, looking at the New England Patriots, and seeing what they do next, and I will too. Subscribe to me, Wi-Fi Willie, for more NFL content. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.